What's up guys, Elfis here, and today we're going to be doing another Han Hero review. Now first of all, just real quickly, I know it's been a long time guys. I haven't really fixed the audio issue I've been having, but I found a different way to record that, gets okay audio and all that. So give me feedback on that please, that'd be fantastic if you guys can let me know if the audio is good, bad, whatever. But it's pretty annoying to record now because I have to do it a different way, and the different way is a little bit more complicated and all that, but whatever, that's a story for another time. You didn't come here to hear that. So, jumping in, we're going to be reviewing Bushwack today, and this is going to be, also, after this, I'm going to redo the Zephyr one for people. I know the issues with the audio were in that too, so I'll redo that one, but I want to do this first. So, the way we're going to do this review is I'm going to go over the skills. I'm going to talk about, how they work, their quality, so to speak, whether I think they're good, bad, whatever, changes needed, etc. Then I'm going to talk about the hero's role and how well he fits into the role, and then I'm going to finish it off by talking about how well the hero role fits into the current metagame. So let's jump into this. First of all, the skills. I'll mouse over them so you guys can read them while I'm doing this. So his Q, fantastic, fairly short cooldown, fairly low mana cost. The damage is decent once it scales, which is the really good part, the fact that it scales, because it scales similar to Panda's abilities, which scale with his base damage, his base physical damage, which is the same thing that this ability does, basically. It scales with your physical damage. So, that's fantastic. The movement speed slow is fantastic. Granted, it's only for 1 second, is a bit, but at max level, it's only 7-second cooldown anyways, so really, every 6 seconds, you can then, CC for 1 second, basically. That's how it's going to work. So, it's a pretty good skill. I like it. I don't think I would change anything about it. I think it's actually really well balanced. It's not too strong early on or late game, because of the skill. It's well balanced. The mana cost is decent. The cooldown is decent. It's really well balanced. I like the skill a lot. On to his next skill, Sidestep. You guys can read it right there. The physical damage boost is mediocre. Plus 40 is decent. That's not horrendous. That's good actually, but it's not quite amazing. The real power that this ability has is the mobility that it has. Every 6 seconds you can jump a fairly decent amount. I know the range it says is 400. I'm not sure if you actually jump 400 or not. I could be mistaken, but I think you actually jump something around like 300 or so. I could be mistaken though, so somebody can correct me on that. But either way, I don't necessarily think the ability is underpowered or overpowered. I think it's fairly balanced. The only thing is, any movement impairing heroes, similar to like Prisoner 945's his ball and chain thing, it immobilizes this skill basically. You can't use the skill when you have movement impairing things on it. Deadwood's Grasp, I believe, does it too. Things like that. So in that sense, it really kind of gimps him against heroes like that. It doesn't necessarily make him, incredibly weak, but it certainly does put kind of a damper on his level of strength, so to speak. But the skill itself is still decent. I don't think that's a problem with the skill. That's more so just a weakness the hero has in particular. Splinter Shot. A fantastic ability, similar but not quite the same, similar to Forsaken Split Shot, or Split Arrow, whichever one it is. It does a similar thing to that extent, although this actually does more damage than the Split Arrow, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought Split Arrow was somewhere around 40 or 50%. Now 60, I could be mistaken. But fantastic ability. The real shine of this ability is that it procs your ultimate, which we'll get to in a second, so don't worry about that. But it procs your ultimate, which makes the ability fantastic, like incredibly fantastic. So that's just one thing that is just amazing about the ability. So that's really where it shines, is the fact that you especially when it synergizes with like AoE stuns, Tempest ult, things like that. You proc your ultimate as well as AoE damage on everything like that. It reminds me very much so of a Rune Cleaver, although it's not. It doesn't do it in a cleave, it does it in a cone, but it's basically a Rune Cleaver, so to speak. It hurts the things behind the target you're attacking. So there you go. Fantastic ability. I think it's awesome. I wouldn't change anything about it, I don't think. Onto his ultimate. His ultimate is a fantastic ability. It's the main reason I love this hero. I love heroes that are built around auto attacks. That's kind of my thing. I love, I don't like pressing a lot of buttons to kill people. I just like, clicking on them, auto attacking, and they die. They just take, hit, boom, and they're dead. That's my thing. That's why I love hard carries so much. But anyways, his ultimate, fantastic. The damage is actually incredibly fantastic, and the real shine of the damage is that it's physical damage, so it'll go through Shrunken Head. So 79 damage per second, and it stacks up to 6 times. If you build up your attack speed enough, you can actually get that, proccing that many times. Fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. It's incredibly powerful. But the really, really, really powerful shine of the skill is the clear vision that it gives, which basically means how to say this. It basically means that you're unkiteable, so to speak. They can't, not unkiteable, unjukeable rather. As long as you keep this ultimate stacked up on the enemy, they cannot juke you through trees or anything like that. It gives you clear vision. You can see them through the fog, is what that means. So you're unjukeable as long as you get an attack off on them, which is fantastic. I love it. I can't tell you how many kills it has netted me when somebody tries to juke me, and it doesn't work because they can't juke me. I can see through the trees. So it's a fantastic ability. I don't think I'd change a single thing about it. I absolutely love this ability. I love that it's passive, non-active. I love everything about it, really. So now that we talked about his skills and how I think how their quality is, let's talk about the hero role. So Bushwack is a hard carry. Hard carries typically, not always, but typically are my style. So how do I say this? He fits well into the hard carry role. I just want to briefly talk about a couple of things a hard carry should have in order to carry hardly. Carry, that was, no, I'm not funny. Carry very strong. So first of all, he should have a decent escape. Bushwack has his W sidestep here. It's okay, not a fantastic escape, especially because movement impairing things stop it, things like that. It's not fantastic, but it's still good, okay? It's not incredibly weak by any means. It's still strong for escaping. I'll just leave the mouse over so you guys can see. It's a fine ability. It's certainly not like a Chrono Sleep or things like that to that extent. It's not that good of an escape, but it is still nice. It's very good for dodging abilities because it has such a quick, cast time. It has like basically a zero. It's an instant skill. I'm almost 100% sure it's instant, but it does have a little bit of a travel time, so it's probably about 0.2 seconds to get to your location, somewhere around that time. But once you use it, you jump. So it's very good for dodging abilities, especially ones that have longer cast times, like Pyromancer, Stun, things like that. You see the animation for it quickly. If you have quick reflexes, dodge quickly and you'll miss the skill, but the skill still goes on cooldown because you used it. It just didn't hit you. So it's a fantastic ability. I do think there are stronger escapes out there, but it is fairly good for the fact that it gives you that bonus damage, and the very short cooldown and low mana costs are really what make the ability shine. It's sure, the distance isn't very far, but the fact that you can use it every 6 seconds at max level, and this should be the skill you're maxing first anyways, is fantastic. It helps you, dodge abilities all the time, non-stop. So what else should a hard carry have? A hard carry should have some types of built-in attack modifiers. This carry happens to have 2, his E as well as his R. I'm not going to go too much into it. I already talked about their synergy and things like that. So, they're built-in, attack modifiers. Hard carries typically always have at least 1. He has 2, which I think is much better, because hard carries, late game, they just auto-attack. So that's why I don't like having a lot of abilities that don't affect your auto-attacks, because you don't use the abilities as much. In this case, these are both instantaneous skills, so you can use them very frequently, and they don't really interrupt your attack times as long as you do them in between attacks fairly well. And the other 2 are passives that affect your attacks, which I think are fantastically strong. So, he does have a bit of a range gimp when it comes to a range carry. If you look at his range here, he's only 450. Range carries are typically, 600 or so, 550, 600, with the exception of Moon Queen, I think, is the only other one who has really low. Moon Queen's like 300, I believe. I don't think there are any other hard range carries that are lower than 550, maybe lower than 500. So he's a bit gimped in that sense, but I think he makes up for it with his strong ability set. So I think he fits into the hero carry role very well. There are a couple other things you should have as a carry, but those are the main ones anyways. So I don't want to make this too long of a video, so I'm kind of sticking to the main points. I think he's a fantastic hard carry. I think certainly there are other choices that play different ways. So if you're used to a different play style, or you want a different type of play, hero play to fit into a certain team composition, then yeah, you would have to go with a different carry in that case. Maybe he doesn't fit into your style of team composition as well, so go with a different carry. So it's just kind of, I think he's a very strong hard carry. It's just that, all these hard carries, they have specific, types of hard carries, specific ways to play a hard carry and specific uses of a hard carry. So some of them are better at AoE, some of them are better at single target. So it depends on what you need and that kind of stuff, alright? But he is a strong hard carry. Onto how hard carries fit into the current metagame. As many people know, hard carries fit in the current metagame fantastically. Everybody loves playing hard carries. Hard carry is a very, very desired role. As I've said in the Zephyr video, which I'm going to redo, like I said, but people like to go with either a hard carry to win late game, or some type of gankers or push strategy to win early game. That's really how the metagame works. People love hard carries. That's just the way it is, and I totally understand that. I love hard carries too. So no worries in that concept. So, what's the hero's final score? I would give the hero a 4.5. I do think the hero is not necessarily incredibly overpoweredly strong. I like the hero. He's strong. He's not like super duper strong though. He does have weaknesses that affect his, his skill, not skill level. Sorry, his his strength, basically, how powerful the hero is, things of that nature. So there are some flaws. I did mention a couple of them, the fact that this one can be countered to an extent, things like that. This one, they have to be behind the target. It's not like, split shot or split arrow from Forsaken or, Dracon Assault, things like that. They all have their little flaws. It's kind of just what you want. I don't think the hero is underpowered, but I certainly think that the hero does have certain weaknesses and certain strengths, and it just depends on the playstyle and things like that. So that's the reason I give him a 4.5. He's not 100% perfectly flawless, but if he were, he'd be considered overpowered probably. So I totally understand that. So 4.5 for his final rating. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments, concerns, requests especially, please let me know in the comments section down below. Inbox me, whatever you guys want. Please give me feedback on the audio. Is the audio good now? Do I need to lower it more? What's the deal? Because after this, I'm going to pick a volume set for it, and hopefully the mic will be loud enough and everything will be okay. So just let me know how that's going to work out, and I will be sure to listen to that response. So thank you guys. I thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. GG, well played, guys. Elfis out.